All right, everybody, welcome back. Open water spring fishing is right around the corner. It's coming up on us real quick here. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go over my top 5 favorite trout spoons to use in the spring. And before we really start off this video, I gotta ask you guys, if you're not already subscribed to the main Trout Whisperer YouTube channel, go right down here, click that subscribe button. I know a lot of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed, so please, if you would, hit that subscribe button. It's free, it helps me out, appreciate it. Let's get into the video. So spoons are some of my favorite lures to fish with for trout. I don't know why, it's something about it, but I love spoon fishing, and that's really what started my business, Trout Whisperer Tackle Company. If you guys just started following along, I own Trout Whisperer Tackle Company, and that's the gear that we're going to be talking about today. I specialize in trout spoons and spinners and other gear. I make them all myself. It's a one-man operation here. Spoon fishing is really what got this started for me. But spoons are so versatile. You can fish them in a variety of different water, different depths, different retrievals, so many different patterns. So before I show you the actual patterns that I'm going to be using, I'm going to talk about kind of the setup real quick, just so you guys know, because you do need to have kind of the right setup to be able to cast this stuff. Now, the spoons that I'm going to be recommending are in a 1/8 ounce and a 1/4 ounce. And those are really all you need for general trout fishing. You can catch anything on those spoons. So the one thing you're going to need is a rod that will be able to cast those spoons, especially the 1/8 ounce. You're going to need a sort of specific rod, because if you go ahead and take your medium action bass, rod or finesse bass rod, you're probably not going to be able to cast a spoon that big very well. You'll be able to cast it, but not nearly as well as a nice trout setup. So this is my setup here. This is the JT Panhandler rod, made by JT Outdoor Products. They make a lot of ice fishing rods, a lot of open water rods. This is like a super premium trout rod. This is all one piece, and this one's actually an 8-footer. But what I would recommend getting, you need an ultralight or a light spinning rod, anywhere from 6.5 to 8 feet. So really a 7-foot ultralight would be absolutely perfect for pretty much all trout fishing. And that's what this is. This is an ultralight, but it's an 8-foot. If you guys want to check out JT Rods, they have this Panhandler rod here in a variety of different sizes. And I have a promo code down below for you guys if you want to save some money on getting one of these for yourself. This is a really nice rod. You need a nice rod to load up on the fish and to hold the fish, especially in current. You have a stiffer rod and you're going to be losing a lot of fish. And I've found that the 1000 size Shimano reels are really all you need for general trout fishing. This one happens to be a Stratic, but you don't need to go out and buy a Stratic. Any of the Shimano reels, even the lower end ones, the cheaper ones, work really, really well. And I pair that with 6-pound P-line CX Premium. And I also sell this right at Trout Whisperer Tackle. I'll leave my website down below so you guys can find some of this gear. You can find all the spoons and stuff that we're going to be talking about today. But that's the setup right there. Go get yourself a nice rod, and you won't have any problem casting this stuff and getting on some trout. I get a lot of questions and emails every year. What's your top 5 spoons? They want to get into spoon fishing right before spring. They're going to buy some gear. What are the top 5 ones I should get? I'm fishing here, I'm fishing for brown trout, I'm fishing for brook trout. So I'm going to talk about just general trout fishing for rainbow trout, brown trout, brook trout, and even up here in Maine we have landlocked salmon. So they occupy the same water a lot of times. So all of these lures work perfectly for salmon as well. There isn't just one lure that is going to do it all for you. And you'll see why here in a minute. I have a variety of different colors, and it really depends on where you're fishing, what the water quality is like, the time of year. Is it overcast? Is it sunny? What you have for bait fish in your body of water that you're fishing. This is probably one of the most popular spoons and probably one of the more versatile spoons. This is the Blue Fade spoon. I have it here in 1/8 ounce and 1/4 ounce. I'll show you guys some close-ups of these so you can see them a little bit better. So up here in Maine in the spring, there tends to be some smelt runs around in some of the rivers and the lakes. So this spoon right here, this Blue Fade, is a great imitation for smelt, alewife, anything like that. It's got that blue hammered finish on it, and front and back faded to blue. And another one that I would pair with that, I'm going to give you guys an extra one here. Another one I would pair that, which is pretty similar, is the purple fade. So either one of these is a great smell imitation. I would definitely have one of these in your tackle box if you're going out this spring. These are great on bright sunny days. The silver or nickel color tends to refract a lot of light. If you have a lot of sunlight, this is gonna bounce off of that and really drive those fish in from distance. And being that it's got the blue colors on it or has that natural bait fish look to it, so that's definitely one that you gotta have in your tackle box. Now I'll kind of go in a little bit of a different direction here. This is a spoon that probably is super underrated, but I came out with this almost specifically to fish dirtier water or more overcast days where everything just feels dark. This spoon just shines in those environments. This is the basic hammered copper spoon. Full copper color, front and back. And copper spoons tend to work best in lower light conditions or in murkier water. So in the spring up here, we get a lot of runoff with all the snow and ice melting out of the lakes and on the banks, and it just creates some murkier water. This copper color, as well as brass, is known to refract light better in those conditions. Gives off a warmer, reddish coppery color to it. And it draws the fish in from a distance as opposed to maybe a more silver color like this blue fade that we just talked about. These colors can get kind of washed out in the higher water, murky, muddy, kind of chocolatey milk water. So this is a really good one to have if you're having a tough day, overcast, rainy, foggy, or some stained water. This is a great one to have in your tackle box. Now you always want to have some bright spoons as well. So in the spring, I find that all the trout that I've fished for love the color pink. Brown trout, brook trout, rainbow trout, they all like pink. So that's why I came up with this half nickel, half pink. It's a fluorescent pink color here. This one just works all the time. You can fish this one in some dirtier water as well. Not only does the copper and the brass color work good to create sort of a silhouette at distance for the fish, but sometimes when the water's really dirty, these really bright colors like your pinks, your oranges, your chartreuse can really stand out in that dirtier water and give those fish something to target on. So, I can only choose one, but I would pick, in the spring, I would pick the pink. Here's an example of the chartreuse that we have. I have a couple different colors like this, chartreuse, orange. Go check out the website. I got it all linked below. All right, this is one of my favorite spoons to fish all year round, especially for brown trout in the fall. Salmon love this spoon, and brown trout love this spoon. And I've caught my fair share of brook trout on this as well. This is the half orange, half brass spoon. So you've got that really bright orange contrasty color, and then you've got the brass color that'll work better when the water's higher and a little bit blown out, a little bit of color to it. I've caught more fish on this lure than probably any other lure that I sell. This is by far one of my favorites. All right, coming in at number 5 here, the last one. I'll throw in an extra one after this, spoiler alert. But this is my second favorite spoon of all time. This works all year round, and especially for brook trout, this works really, really well. This is the half red, half brass spoon. It's front and back. So it's got that nice, shiny red color, that candy red color that's gonna produce some flash and look like a wounded bait fish. And that brass color is just perfect year round, really. I like to fish this on slightly overcast days, clear water. This works great. I have a friend of mine that fished this up north. He actually trolled it behind the boat and they couldn't keep the brook trout off. This color is just super killer for brook trout. Definitely recommend that. And then I'll throw in one more, like I said. As I mentioned earlier on, I love to fish lures with pink on them in the spring. White works good as well, and of course the blue that we have for that kind of smelt color. So this one kind of combines all three of those colors. This is the rainbow trout lure. This is one of the better producing lures that I've had over the years. I fished this a lot. This was one of the first spoons I came out with, and it's put a lot of fish in the boat. It's got that pink, it's got the blue, it's got the white, and it's nickel on the back, so it's got a lot of flash. That's my top 5 or 6 or 7. I don't even know how many spoons I just showed you, but those are kind of my top. If I had to go out to any river in the state of Maine, those are the top 5 or 6 that I would take with me. What I found when I really started to get into spoon fishing was that I liked single hooks on my spoons. It's better for the fish. You actually get pretty good hookup ratios, and it's generally right in the corner of the mouth. You can pop it out with your fingers usually, and you get snagged on debris in the water a lot less. Rocks and logs and stuff, you can rip it right through. You can generally get unsnagged pretty easily as opposed to a little treble hook. And with a single hook, you have more pressure on a single point rather than a treble hook where it's all spread out on 3 different hooks. It penetrates easier, you get a hook set a lot easier. And I just like it for spin fishing. I love using the single hooks. So when I design these spoons, I put single hooks on them. The 1/4 ounce has a little bit bigger single hook, and I also put a swivel right at the top of the spoon. So when you hook this up to your rod, I really recommend tying directly to that swivel. Don't use a snap swivel. It just creates extra bulk, and this is the most minimal thing you can do, is just tie it right to the spoon. So when that spoon's rolling around in the water, especially in the current, it's going to spin a lot. You won't get a bunch of line twists. I know it's annoying to cut and tie your line instead of using a snap swivel, but just trust me, try it out, because you'll probably catch more fish if you tie directly to the lure. I really recommend doing that over a bulky snap swivel. So I have some videos on how specifically to fish spoons. They're older videos. I should probably do a new one because I have better ways of filming things and talking about it. But, you know, a lot of people think that if you're going to throw a spoon, it's going to go down really deep. Well, what people don't realize is when you cast these out, the minute you start retrieving, it really stops sinking. So you can fish these in 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet of water, no problem. You just have to vary your retrieve. My favorite way to fish these is doing a twitch, pause retrieve, especially when the water's kind of blown out, it's kind of stained, dirty in the spring. You can slow down and fish these pretty slow by casting it kind of upstream, quartering upstream, letting it sink down, give it 2 or 3 twitches, reel up the slack, 2 or 3 twitches, reel up the slack, and that really slows down the presentation and lets this kind of jet up in the air and flutter back down, and then you can pull it, let it flutter back down, and that gives those fish time to find it for one, and that fluttering produces a lot of vibration, and they can hone in on that and come in, and it looks like a dying bait fish, and then they smoke it. So anyways, those are my top trout spoons for spring. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments below if you have ever tried any of my spoons, how you liked them. Also, if you guys have a specific color that you love to fish for trout that you don't see on my website, leave it down in the comments below, because I'm always looking to create new gear that you guys want to use. I mean, that's ultimately why I created this business, was to give you guys products that I believe in that is going to catch fish for you and give you guys confidence on the water. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you guys in the next video.